आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़ आपकी आवाज़, विज्ञान की आवाज़, की आवाज़।
Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we bring you a podcast series on STEM popularization, science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine, supported and catalyzed by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. This program is produced by Media for Community Foundation. Creative content and technical support is given by Purvasha Banerjee and Shushanto Das.
एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़ आपकी आवाज़, विज्ञान की आवाज़, की आवाज़, की आवाज़।
Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast series aims to popularize new ideas of science and technology, which highlight STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine. This brings to the surface the efforts and researches of Indian scientists, which is desired to bring a change in community learning and teaching, access to knowledge of resources, and social paradigms. Our goal is to spread the name of indigenous Indian research stories and their masters among the masses of society in a very easy manner. Bose Institute was set up in 1917 by Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose, the founder of modern science in the Indian subcontinent. It is Asia's first modern research center devoted to interdisciplinary research and bears a century-old tradition. The institute was founded as not merely a laboratory but a temple, with its principal aims being the advancement of science and diffusion of knowledge. Swami Vivekananda, Sister Nivedita, whose influence is reflected in the institute's emblem of Vajra, was significant in the setting up of the institute, and Rabindranath Tagore were among those who had consistently inspired and supported Jagadish Chandra Bose in his endeavors. Ever since the establishment of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India in May 1971, Bose Institute has been an autonomous grant-in-aid institution of DST. Over the last century, the institute has endlessly strived to preserve the legacy of its illustrious founder. We welcome Dr. Zhumur Ghosh in our podcast, who is presently an associate professor in the Department of Biological Sciences at Bose Institute.
Myself, Dr. Zhumur Ghosh. I am the associate professor of the Department of Biological Science, Bose Institute. I did my master's in physics from Calcutta University, after which I did my PhD from Indian Association from the Cultivation of Science, Jadavpur. And then I did my postdoc from Stanford University School of Medicine, California. And in between, I joined IIT Guwahati for a few months. And then I joined Bose Institute in the year 2010. And in due course of my PhD career, I actually co-authored a book on bioinformatics since I did my PhD on bioinformatics. So I co-authored a book on bioinformatics, which I guess it is very useful for those who are interested in this area. And during my tenure, the starting tenure at Bose Institute, I wrote a reference book, edited a reference book actually, based on the regulatory RNAs.
In today's episode, Professor Ghosh shares in detail about the current research endeavor that is being carried out in their laboratory with AML.
So today I'm very interested to share with you a particular work which we are doing in our lab with the acute myeloid leukemia. So basically it's a very common man knows it as a blood cancer. AML, the full form is acute myeloid leukemia. So it is one form of leukemia which is prevalent, which is a very common disease. So I will be talking about what we are working for these types of AML patients. What actually instigated us to work in this area is that, the invasive procedure by which the initial test goes on. So that is basically the bone marrow aspirate is taken. So that's a very painful procedure, and you can understand it if it happens with a child. That is even more very painful. So actually we used to see this in the hospitals. So you have to collect that bone marrow biopsy, and that serves as the initial sample for the diagnosis of the AML patient. So with this thing in our mind, we thought that whether we can do something, we can devise some non-invasive procedure by which we can do preliminary AML diagnosis. So with this thing, we actually thought that whether peripheral blood means the blood which we take from the veins. So it's very easy to collect it, it's not an invasive procedure. So whether that can be taken, and with that we can go ahead with our diagnostic. We can redesign the diagnostic panel, initial set of diagnostic panels, so that AML can be detected. So with this thing in our mind, we actually came up with a prediction model. So that is, we are implementing here artificial intelligence and also data science. Data science means here we are consulting the multi-omic data sets which are available online, and we are actually mining out the essential information out of it, implementing artificial intelligence. And we have devised a prediction model which is named as TB-AML Pred. So it is actually predicting AML. So with this, what we will do is, if the patient comes, the peripheral blood will be drawn, and then we need to generate genomics data out of it. And if that is fed within this prediction model, it is going to tell you whether that guy is AML positive or not. So at least we will have a preliminary diagnosis without that invasive procedure, which is very painful.
Professor Ghosh focuses on the intricate steps of the research and its current stage. She also talks about the present status of the research across country and across the globe.
So basically, as I've told you, that people who are working around currently, they are looking in a different perspective on the disease. So basically here AML people are working on not on the prediction model, but they are working with the different, specific set of genes which can be changed or whatever it is. But for my lab, I am basically focusing on to screen a particular set of genes which is really going problematic for the disease, and it will also help in the early detection of the disease. So basically to screen out that particular set of genes. So here basically we have already developed this model, and it has already been published. It is already there online. But the thing which we are doing right now is to validate the set of genes which is serving as the panel for the prediction model. Those set of genes we are validating in our lab, so that we want to make it more robust, so that this prediction model, how far it is really useful to the people, to the common man, that we can put up. Another thing also we are thinking about, I think you know about it, that when we are looking into a data and mining out information, the more the data set is and the diverse the data set is, the result is better. So here basically what we are trying to do is, we are trying to enhance that accuracy of this prediction model by integrating more data sets, so that this can be made more robust. So after that, we will think about, once we validate this set of genes, as I've told you, we can think about popularizing it at a more diagnostic level.
Madam emphasizes on the significance of industry-academia collaboration for such an area of research.
Actually, with AML, lots of people are working throughout India and abroad. But, thinking about this sort of prediction model for early AML diagnosis, this is something which we have thought in this way. And In addition to this, I would like to talk about one of my future works. I mean, not exactly future, we are going ahead with it, is some neurodegenerative disorders. We all know that Alzheimer's disease is very household name right now because, early Alzheimer's are also coming, and I don't know whether you are aware of it or not. Female individuals are more prone towards Alzheimer's disease. So we have started working on this Alzheimer's disease with a future goal to come up with a prediction model for early screening of individuals, for our country, so that a particular individual who is attaining 50 years, he or she can come and have a test. We are trying to do it from blood itself, so that you can screen and say that this person is prone towards Alzheimer's. Because you can't detect it until and unless it is very pronounced. And behavioral studies are there, some sort of studies are there, but normally we don't go. But if we can make it like pap smear test, that okay, you have attained 40 years, 50 years, you go for this test. You go for predicting whether you have a tendency towards AD or not. That is what we are trying to do. Definitely, we are very much interested for this industry academia collaboration, which is very much important for these sorts of work. So, what I can foresee from now, if we can really validate these things, we can come up with some kits for which we need industry collaboration. So they will be interested to develop sort of kits, early diagnostic kits, which can be useful for, these sorts of detections for common people.
We thank Professor Ghosh for her detailed deliberation.